All right, so this is going to be the next installment for the Suited Shootist video series, and I'm not getting into the cocktail section just yet. I was actually planning on it, but I saw a post from Paul Sharp that I thought would be kind of a good talking point. But I am enjoying a paper plane. Look up the recipe. It's a fantastic drink, so definitely check it out. So, what I wanted to talk about tonight is the fact that you're only the good guy in your mind. And what I mean by that is whether it is socially or in the context of a defensive encounter, you're the only person that knows what your motivations are. You're the only person that knows what your intent is. And so it's very common for people to take offense and try and kind of clear their name whenever they're standing as good guy or good girl has been challenged. Now, there tends to be a little bit less consequence to this on the social side, but it still exists. And we see a lot of it right now, especially with the 2A conversation being in the forefront of everybody's minds in terms of both the lobby day in Virginia that took place and the Democratic debates that are going on. And so that's something that I just really want everybody to keep in mind is that you know that you're a good person. You know what your goals, what your aspirations, what your intents are. But it's not fair to expect somebody else to see things from your perspective without your context. And so what I would encourage people to do is if you find yourself in that position where that is up for debate, somebody has called into question kind of your overall nature as a human being, whether they're casting aspersions at you or whether it's just two people that aren't getting along, take a step back. Realize that chances are what you're going through right now is very much also going on the other side of the table, and that there's probably a lot more common ground than you think if you just take a breath and make sure that both perspectives are understood. Not just, well, no, I'm right, I'm the good guy, so fuck that guy, and I'm going to go scorched earth on him and burn him to the ground so that everybody sees how right I am. That feels amazing. It is emotionally very gratifying. It's completely unproductive. So whether it be something as trivial as parking spots, like what Paul was talking about, and I'll link to his post so that you can kind of read it, because just watching the development of the scenario was great because it went completely 180 from where you expected it to. And it was very much kind of a good reminder for all of us, just kind of keep things in check. However, this is also very important on the other side of the coin when it comes to the defensive scenarios, because let's say you have just had the worst day of your life and you've had to use force or deadly force to defend yourself. Well, you know what went on. You're one of only a small handful of people that have all the information as to what happened. It could just be you and the person that you just defended yourself against. There may be witnesses that have other pieces of the puzzle. There may not. But when law enforcement arrives on scene, to steal a quote from Masayub, the guy that's bleeding out on the ground is doing a very convincing impression of the victim. And so just bear in mind that the responding officers, it's not their job to determine innocence or guilt. They're just there to collect information. Now, before I get any deeper into this, obviously, I'm not a lawyer. This isn't legal advice. Go take Mass's class. Go take Andrew Branca's class. They are absolutely worth the cost of admission. If you just absolutely cannot afford anything else, at the bare minimum, pick up Branca's book. It's like $10-15, and it will at least help contextualize some of this. But essentially, it's one of those things where if you're being interviewed as a person of interest or as a suspect, it's not personal. So you have to just be very wary of the desire to explain your side of things in its entirety if you don't have representation there, because these guys do this on a regular basis. You don't. You're in their house. You are very much playing by their rules, and they're not there to help you. They're not necessarily there to hurt you, but they're not there to be your advocate either. So again, it's one of those things, whether it's a dust up in the parking lot over a parking space or a minor fender bender, or even just a dispute between coworkers, family members, anything else, or something as serious as a violent encounter, just understand that you're only the good guy in your mind, and that everybody else doesn't have your version of events or everything that's colored your opinions up to that event. And it's just something that really needs to be front of mind for a lot of people, because a lot of us, myself included, can sometimes walk around with this, I'm not going to say hero complex, but we're the star of our own movie. And any time somebody comes across and challenges that, the first reaction is going to be very visceral, and you want to make sure that you defend your honor. Just make sure that it's worth it, and make sure that you've got the fullest understanding of what's going on, and make sure that everybody involved has the fullest understanding of what's going on. Like I said, on the social side, it's fairly low consequence, so being able to just discuss it and kind of hash that out works. On the defensive side of things, get a lawyer, take a class. I'm not going to delve too deep into that because it is squarely outside my wheelhouse. But I thought it was relevant. I thought it was useful. And just remember that people are not going to see things the way you do. The more you can help people understand when appropriate, the better. So, hope everybody has a great week. Stay safe, and cheers.